Imagine if I revealed that one decision you make at night could either enhance your body's capacity to build muscle, heal itself, and enter a state of deep restorative sleep, or completely hinder those essential functions. Many individuals associate muscle growth with gym workouts, protein shakes, and lifting heavy weights. But the truth is, the real magic, true strength development, cellular repair, and hormonal rebalancing unfolds while you sleep. It's in those quiet, unconscious hours that your body produces growth hormone, repairs micro tears and muscle fibers, and reboots your nervous system. But there's one specific habit, a common nighttime routine, that many believe to be harmless or even relaxing, that actually disrupts this entire healing journey. This habit is more than just a minor inconvenience. It can drastically affect the quality of your deep sleep, destabilize your hormonal balance, and leave you waking up feeling groggy, inflamed, and under-recovered, no matter how many hours you spend in bed. What is this seemingly small but impactful routine? It's about the timing and composition of your meals before bed. We're not here to vilify food or condemn the occasional snack. Rather, it's about understanding how our late-night eating habits intersect with our biology, how they influence circadian rhythms, anabolic hormone production such as testosterone and growth hormone, and the structure of our sleep cycles, particularly the deep, non-REM phases where true regeneration takes place. Research underscores that specific foods, especially those rich in sugars and saturated fats, not only reduce the amount of deep sleep, but also suppress muscle protein synthesis and raise nighttime cortisol, the stress hormone. This becomes increasingly crucial as we age. After the age of 30, natural production of growth hormone and testosterone begins to decline. This makes every moment of quality sleep and every aspect of your recovery process all the more valuable. When disrupted, not only does this impair muscle recovery, but also increases fat storage, dampens insulin sensitivity, and weakens immune function. The food choices you make, particularly in the last hour or two before bed, can either support or sabotage your body's recovery. Eating heavy, rich meals or sugary snacks late at night signals to your internal systems that it's still active daytime, confusing your body's internal clocks. This cue delays melatonin secretion, spikes insulin levels, and nudges the body toward a stress response instead of a regenerative one. You might close your eyes and drift off, but under the surface, your body is still metabolically active, working to digest the food instead of repairing tissue and rebalancing hormones. At the center of this process is your circadian rhythm, the 24-hour internal cycle governed by a master clock in the brain, specifically in a region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, located within the hypothalamus. This clock is primarily synced by light exposure, but food timing is an equally powerful influence. Interestingly, your body also has peripheral clocks, located in organs such as the liver, gut, pancreas, and even within your muscle and fat tissues. These peripheral clocks can be thrown out of sync when you eat at unusual hours, especially late at night. A groundbreaking study published in Current Biology in 2017 demonstrated that irregular eating schedules desynchronize the peripheral clocks from the brain's master clock. This misalignment leads to increased cortisol, elevated nighttime blood glucose, and impaired metabolic functions. Your liver might begin preparing for food digestion just as your brain is trying to enter deep rest. This discordance puts your system in a low-grade stress state even during sleep, reducing slow-wave sleep duration, the deepest and most restorative sleep stage when majority of growth hormone is secreted and tissue repair is most efficient. Have you ever had a heavy or sugary dinner late at night and experienced vivid, chaotic dreams? Have you ever slept for 7 or 8 hours and yet woke up feeling unrest, foggy-headed, or sore? That's your body signaling that something went wrong. These aren't random occurrences. They're signs of disrupted circadian rhythms and impaired sleep architecture. When you eat the wrong types of food at the wrong time, your internal physiology starts working against your recovery efforts. Even meals perceived as healthy can pose a problem if consumed too close to bedtime. High-protein or high-fat foods can slow down digestion and increase thermogenesis, which raises your core body temperature and interferes with the natural drop in temperature that facilitates sleep onset. It also increases the workload on your digestive system, diverting resources from muscle recovery and hormonal recalibration to processing that meal. This internal conflict can lead to fragmented sleep and missed opportunities for deep restoration. Additionally, late-night snacking can push your insulin rhythm out of sync, especially when combined with artificial light exposure. This results in delayed melatonin release and increased sleep latency. In short, it takes you longer to fall asleep, and the sleep you do get is lighter and more disrupted. If you stack this habit night after night, the compounding damage becomes evident. Slower muscle recovery, increased inflammation, fat gain around the abdomen, lowered testosterone, and diminished cognitive clarity. Understanding this interplay between your eating schedule and your body's nightly repair mechanisms empowers you to make smarter decisions. Instead of eating a large or rich meal right before bed, consider having your last substantial meal 2 to 3 hours before sleep. If you need something closer to bedtime, opt for something light, easily digestible, and supportive of serotonin and melatonin production. Perhaps a small serving of complex carbohydrates, some magnesium-rich almonds, or a warm herbal tea. Making this shift in your nighttime eating habits can dramatically enhance your sleep quality, boost your anabolic hormone profile, and accelerate recovery. And this isn't just for athletes or bodybuilders. Anyone who wants to feel more energized, recover faster from daily stress, and reduce inflammation will benefit. The body's nightly healing mechanisms are one of its most potent biological assets, and aligning your behavior to support them is a game changer. You don't need an overhaul of your entire lifestyle. Sometimes it begins with one decision: what you choose to consume before bed. You're not just feeding your hunger. You're feeding your cells, your hormones, your brain, and your future performance. Start tuning into these signals. Experiment with shifting your last meal earlier, avoid sugar and heavy fats late at night, and watch how your body responds. You might find that your dreams become calmer, your mornings become clearer, and your recovery becomes stronger. As time goes on, it becomes increasingly significant to recognize how our biological systems change with age. One of the most important changes involves the weakening of our circadian rhythm. As we age, the strength of this internal clock diminishes, making the signals that differentiate day from night far less pronounced. This has a profound impact on our health, particularly when it comes to sleep quality. When we eat at the wrong times, especially late at night, we further disrupt this already fading rhythm. The confusion created by late-night eating makes it even more difficult for the body to enter deep, restorative sleep, which is essential for maintaining healthy testosterone levels, supporting muscle recovery, and preserving cognitive function. Here's what's happening inside your brain during these late-night meals. When you eat late, particularly foods that are heavy or high in sugar and fat, you stimulate the hypothalamus and the digestive system, areas of the body that should be entering a state of rest and recovery at night. Instead of winding down, your body gears up, increasing its core temperature and keeping your blood sugar levels elevated for longer than they should be. This activity interferes with the production of melatonin, the hormone responsible for signaling your brain to initiate the sleep process. When melatonin is suppressed, your body has a harder time recognizing that it's time to rest. A 2020 study published in Nutrients revealed that even a small late-night meal can delay the onset of melatonin by up to 90 minutes in healthy adults. That delay means you fall asleep later, and even if you manage to sleep through the night, your rest is less deep and less restorative. Over time, this has cumulative effects, not just on your sleep quality, but on your overall health, hormonal balance, and energy levels. The solution is surprisingly simple. Front-load your calories during the day and aim to stop eating at least 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. This window gives your body enough time for insulin and digestive hormones to taper off, allowing melatonin and growth hormone to function effectively during the initial stages of sleep. These hormones are crucial. Growth hormone, in particular, plays a vital role in muscle repair, fat metabolism, and cellular regeneration. If you eat too close to bedtime, your body spends valuable energy digesting food instead of repairing and recovering. Still, modern life doesn't always make it easy to stick to these recommendations. If you work late or prefer evening workouts, it's understandable that you might need to eat afterward. In that case, the key isn't to skip your post-workout nutrition, but to be mindful about what you consume. Avoid heavy, fatty, or sugary meals and instead opt for lighter, protein-rich options that are easier on your digestive system. In Part 4, we'll go deeper into the best choices for bedtime nutrition. The essential point to understand is that sleep is not a passive state. It is a biologically intricate process that thrives on rhythm and timing. What you eat, and when you eat it, can determine whether your night becomes a period of healing and rejuvenation or a time when your body quietly struggles against itself. When the timing of your last meal aligns with your circadian rhythm, your sleep architecture improves, hormone production balances, and your body's repair mechanisms function optimally. Unfortunately, this isn't what most people do. Many individuals gravitate toward their favorite indulgent snacks in the late evening hours. After a long, stressful day, it's easy to understand why. Willpower weakens as the day winds down, and the immediate comfort of sugary treat or greasy food is incredibly tempting. But while your brain may experience a temporary mood boost, your body is enduring a different story altogether. Research shows that consuming high glycemic or high-fat foods 1 to 2 hours before sleep can significantly impair sleep quality and delay hormonal recovery. Let's take a closer look at sugar. A randomized crossover study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that participants who consumed high glycemic meals before bedtime experienced more frequent awakenings, lighter overall sleep, and spent less time in slow-wave sleep compared to when they ate a low glycemic meal. Why does this happen? When you eat sugar, your blood glucose spikes. This leads to a surge in insulin after a few hours, typically during the early part of the night when your body is supposed to be entering deep, restorative sleep. Your blood sugar drops rapidly. This sudden drop triggers a stress response. Cortisol, the hormone that helps wake you up in the morning, rises. As a result, your heart rate may increase slightly and your brain, detecting that something is wrong with your energy levels, becomes more alert. Instead of sliding into a deep sleep, you remain in lighter stages or wake up altogether. Now consider dietary fat, especially saturated fat. A 2016 study conducted by researchers at Columbia University found that high saturated fat intake was associated with decreased slow-wave sleep and increased nighttime awakenings. Saturated fat takes longer to digest and increases core body temperature, which works against the cooling your body needs for sleep. Combined with sugar, the effect is even more disruptive. The digestion process becomes slower, body temperature remains elevated, and your sympathetic nervous system stays activated longer. This heightened activity sends signals to your brain that it's not safe to fully relax, keeping your body in a semi-alert state even if you manage to fall asleep. Have you ever noticed how you feel after eating a late-night burger, pizza, or a big bowl of ice cream? You might drift off to sleep quickly thanks to the serotonin boost, but you're more likely to wake up feeling unrefreshed, irritable, or mentally sluggish. These are all signs that your recovery was compromised. It's not just about how you feel, either. Your body's internal systems, the ones responsible for healing, recovery, and muscle building, are also taking a hit. Interrupted sleep limits the release of growth hormone and suppresses testosterone production, both of which are vital for maintaining lean muscle mass, promoting fat metabolism, and sustaining physical vitality. What's the takeaway? Avoid foods that are high in sugar or saturated fat for at least 3 hours before going to sleep. If you absolutely must eat late due to your schedule, make sure your food choices are light, protein dominant, and low in glycemic load. This way, you support your sleep rather than disrupt it. Your body is constantly working to keep you balanced and strong, but it needs your cooperation. Prioritize your evening routine. Respect the timing of your last meal, and you'll begin to notice significant improvements in your sleep quality, hormone regulation, and overall energy. After a workout or due to a long day, opt for something that is lower in sugar, lower in fat, and preferably abundant in slow-digesting protein. In Part 4, we'll explore this further, but even a small serving of cottage cheese or a casein protein shake can enhance overnight recovery instead of hindering it. And here's the inspiring insight. Your evening decisions go beyond mere discipline. It's about preparing your body for optimal performance. Just as you wouldn't shine bright lights into your eyes at 11 p.m. and expect to fall into deep, quality sleep, you also shouldn't overload your body with foods that spike insulin and cortisol levels. Doing so hinders your ability to enter the restorative, anabolic states necessary for full recovery and growth. Making smart food decisions before bed allows your body to sync with its natural rhythms and achieve deeper, more effective rejuvenation during sleep. If this insight is aiding your understanding of the link between nighttime eating and muscle recovery, consider the role of hormones in this equation. Every week we analyze science-based strategies like this to help you enhance mental clarity, physical health, and everyday effectiveness. Having discussed the impact of sugar and fat on sleep, let's delve into a more intricate but crucial topic: the metabolic conflict between insulin and growth hormone. This conflict is central to understanding how your late-night food choices could be silently sabotaging one of the most potent recovery signals your body generates while you rest. This upcoming insight is often misunderstood, but is vital to grasping the full picture of nighttime nutrition. The relationship between insulin and growth hormone, two significant metabolic hormones, is complex and at times conflicting. They cannot function optimally at the same time. Let's break it down step by step. Each night, about 60 to 90 minutes after you fall asleep, assuming your sleep is restful and uninterrupted, your brain initiates the largest surge of growth hormone you'll experience within a 24-hour period. This surge typically happens during the deep non-REM stages of sleep, and it plays several critical roles, including muscle repair, utilizing fat stores for energy, aiding in tissue regeneration, and promoting overall physical recovery. Here's where the issue arises. Insulin, the hormone released in response to the consumption of carbohydrates or protein, directly inhibits the release of growth hormone. If you consume a high-carb, high-protein, or even a moderately sized meal shortly before bedtime, your insulin levels spike at a time when your body should be transitioning into a fasted, recovery-focused state. Elevated insulin interferes with the body's ability to enter this fasted mode, which is when growth hormone is supposed to perform its essential repair functions. A study featured in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism showed that increased insulin suppresses growth hormone secretion by obstructing the hypothalamic signals responsible for triggering its release. To put this in simpler terms, insulin tells your body that it's in a fed state. It's time to process nutrients, store energy, and grow. Growth hormone, by contrast, signals that the body is in a fasting state. It's time to repair, regenerate, and burn fat for energy. These two states are mutually exclusive. It's like pressing the gas and brake pedals at the same time. Instead of moving forward, you end up with mechanical confusion, subpar efficiency, and missed opportunities for both recovery and growth. The result? Incomplete recovery, hindered fat metabolism, and diminished muscle repair, all of which can stall your progress over time. Have you ever noticed that eating late, even if it's something considered healthy, sometimes causes you to wake up feeling bloated, holding on to water, or not quite as toned? Or maybe you feel sore for longer than usual after a tough workout. These are subtle signals from your body that growth hormone's function was inhibited overnight, and your system couldn't shift into a true recovery mode. When insulin remains elevated through the early stages of sleep, your body can't fully utilize fat for energy, nor can it channel its efforts into deep tissue repair and cellular rejuvenation. So what's the solution? The answer lies in strategic meal timing and thoughtful food choices. It's advisable to leave a window of about 2.5 to 3 hours between your last substantial meal and the time you go to bed. This gap allows insulin levels to naturally decline, signaling to your body that it is now entering a fasted state. Once in this fasted state, growth hormone secretion can rise as intended, performing its evolutionary function of nighttime repair, rebuilding muscle, enhancing fat oxidation, and promoting mitochondrial health. This practice doesn't mean starving yourself. It simply means aligning your eating habits with your biological clock to unlock greater recovery potential. But what if your schedule doesn't allow for an early dinner? What if you just finished an evening resistance training session and need to nourish your body? In such cases, opt for foods that induce a minimal insulin response, something with minimal carbohydrates and a moderate amount of protein. Small servings of quinoa, a scoop of collagen protein, or even some low-fat cottage cheese are excellent options. These foods provide amino acids that support muscle recovery without significantly increasing insulin levels, allowing growth hormone to still function in the background. During this delicate overnight phase, a remarkable process unfolds inside your brain. The hypothalamus begins secreting growth hormone-releasing hormone, GHRH, which in turn prompts the pituitary gland to release growth hormone. This signal initiates a systemic shift in energy use. Your body begins focusing inward, repairing muscle tissues, cleansing the brain of toxins, and restoring mitochondrial function. But again, this only happens effectively when insulin isn't overwhelming the system. If insulin is constantly elevated due to late-night meals, this critical cascade is blunted, and you lose out on the restorative benefits your body is naturally programmed to initiate. This approach to nighttime nutrition extends far beyond simple dietary rules or calorie counting. It's about understanding how timing, hormone balance, and recovery windows interact in your physiology. You're not just fueling or fasting. You're synchronizing your body with its internal healing mechanisms. By eating strategically, you allow your body to thrive overnight, to emerge in the morning refreshed, repaired, and ready for growth. This is the intersection of science and discipline, where smart choices pave the way for long-term gains. It's not just about what you eat, but when you eat it, that determines the outcome of your training, your sleep quality, and your overall physical transformation. Growth, fat loss, and enhanced mental clarity and resilience all rely not only on how hard you train or how clean you eat during the day, but also on the small decisions you make in the evening. That's why it's essential to prioritize your nighttime routine just as much as your daily workouts and nutrition. This includes understanding when to put the fork down and when to allow your body the quiet space it needs to begin its nightly repair rituals. This is an excellent moment to reflect on something powerful. Some of the most meaningful transformations in our physiology don't come from pushing harder or doing more. They come from knowing when to stop, when to pause, when to let go, avoiding late meals, turning off bright screens, skipping caffeine in the afternoon. None of this is about limitation. It's about precision. And precision is the foundation of optimal performance. Up until now, we've talked about the foods to avoid before sleep. High glycemic carbohydrates, saturated fats, and late-night meals that can spike insulin and interrupt the delicate cascade of hormones needed for recovery. But let's be real. What if you still need something before bed? Maybe your day was long and draining. Maybe you had to train later in the evening. Or perhaps you just find it difficult to fall asleep with an empty stomach. Here's the good news. Your goal isn't to go to sleep hungry. The goal is to eat in a way that supports muscle preservation while keeping your sleep hormones and recovery mechanisms fully functional. Let's talk about how to do that. The perfect fuel for nighttime has 3 key attributes. First, it should produce a minimal insulin response, allowing growth hormone levels to rise naturally and remain undisturbed. Second, it should contain slow-digesting protein, which delivers a steady supply of amino acids to your muscles throughout the night, supporting tissue repair and reducing muscle breakdown. Third, it should promote relaxation and sleep by supporting the production of neurotransmitters like GABA and serotonin, which help regulate melatonin, and guide your body into restful, high-quality sleep. One standout option is casein protein, a slowly digesting dairy protein that's been shown to enhance overnight muscle protein synthesis. In a randomized controlled trial published in Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise, athletes who consumed 40 grams of casein protein 30 minutes before sleep experienced significant increases in muscle mass and strength compared to those who didn't supplement at night. Why? Because casein digests slowly, delivering amino acids in a steady, drip-like fashion, rather than flooding the system all at once. This slow absorption keeps insulin levels relatively low while still nourishing the muscles across several hours. It's consistent, methodical, and incredibly effective. Another great option is cottage cheese, which naturally contains a high amount of casein and also includes tryptophan, a vital amino acid that serves as a precursor to serotonin. Serotonin eventually converts into melatonin, helping to regulate your sleep-wake cycle and deepen the quality of your rest. This makes cottage cheese a double win. It supports muscle recovery and boosts your ability to fall into deep, rejuvenating sleep. If you're looking for an even gentler option, especially one focused on joint or connective tissue health, collagen protein, or bone broth powder is worth considering. These proteins have a very low insulin impact and are rich in glycine, an amino acid known to calm the nervous system and promote restorative sleep. Glycin's effects are especially interesting. Research published in the Journal of Sleep and Biological Rhythms showed that individuals who consumed 3 grams of glycine before bed were able to fall asleep faster, experience deeper sleep stages, and wake up feeling more refreshed. Glycine works as a calming neurotransmitter, reducing core body temperature and helping to induce the kind of sleep that truly restores both mind and body. So if you're someone who tends to feel mentally wired or physically restless at night, a glycine-rich protein source could be a game changer. But what about carbohydrates? Can you still have some carbs before bed without disrupting recovery? The answer is yes, as long as you're selective and mindful. A modest portion of low glycemic carbohydrates can actually support sleep by helping to transport tryptophan across the blood-brain barrier, where it can be converted into serotonin and ultimately into melatonin. Think of a few slices of kiwi, a couple of cherries, or a small handful of oats. When combined with low insulin protein source, these foods can enhance sleep while sabotaging growth hormone secretion. The key is portion and timing. Eat them in moderation, ideally 2 to 3 hours before bed, and avoid heavy starches, sugary snacks, and anything rich in fat that would prolong digestion or spike insulin levels. A practical nighttime routine might look like this. Aim to finish your final full meal at least 3 hours before sleep. If needed, a light snack can be added about 1 to 2 hours before bed. Target 20 to 30 grams of casein protein or cottage cheese. You could add a teaspoon of nut butter or a small amount of berries if you want a bit of flavor and added benefit. But do steer clear of alcohol, refined sugars, and fatty, heavy foods for a good 3 to 4 hours before sleep. These substances aren't just obstacles to digestion. They're barriers to quality recovery. Alcohol, in particular, disrupts sleep architecture, fragments REM cycles, and weakens your natural hormonal rhythms. Remember that what you do in the final few hours of your day can shape how your body recovers, repairs, and prepares for the next day. Food doesn't just sit in your stomach. It interacts with your brain, your nervous system, your hormones, and your muscles. It either signals your body to heal, or it interferes with that process. So when you choose foods that align with your body's natural circadian rhythm, you're not just eating, you're communicating. You're telling your system, now is the time for restoration. If these insights are making you rethink your approach to late-night meals, that's a step in the right direction. You're learning how to align your nutrition with your physiology, which is where the most effective and sustainable transformation takes place. This channel is about turning evidence-based science into practical tools you can feel in your recovery, in your sleep, and in your daily energy. We're focused not just on what works in theory, but on what you can implement tonight and see benefits from tomorrow. Let's also take a moment to explore how other common evening habits, things that may seem harmless, can quietly disrupt the recovery you're working so hard to achieve. Caffeine, alcohol, and even so-called healthy options like certain herbal teas or pieces of dark chocolate can have hidden impacts. Even if consumed earlier in the day, they can linger in your system long enough to interfere with sleep latency and quality, indirectly affecting growth hormone release and overall nighttime regeneration. Despite your disciplined training, consistent nutrition, and good intentions, these subtle choices can erode your gains and leave you waking up groggy, sore, or unrefreshed. True optimization lies in the details. And once you understand the timing, the hormonal rhythms, and the impact of your food choices, you can build a nightly strategy that allows your body to do what it's designed to do, heal, grow, and thrive in the quiet hours when you're not even awake to witness it. But your body is. Your systems are. And when you support them, they support you right back. Efforts in nutrition often focus heavily on the belief that simply eating the right foods at the correct times is the key to securing a good night's sleep and ensuring effective overnight recovery. While that is certainly part of the equation, there is another critical factor that often goes unnoticed, yet it holds equal importance. Your beverage choices, including not just caffeine and alcohol, but also drinks often considered healthy like dark chocolate-infused beverages, yerba mate, or matcha, can significantly influence how well your body recovers, builds muscle, and regulates sleep. especially when consumed too close to bedtime. These drinks can disrupt your body's natural rhythms and undermine all the hard work you put in during the day. Let's start with caffeine. Most people associate caffeine with morning energy and afternoon pick-me-ups. But what many don't understand is how deeply caffeine influences the brain's chemistry. Caffeine not only gives you that familiar alertness by stimulating your central nervous system, but it also actively inhibits the function of adenosine, a naturally occurring brain molecule that builds up throughout the day and signals to your body that it's time to rest. Adenosine promotes drowsiness, preparing your brain and body for sleep. When you consume caffeine, it attaches to the adenosine receptors in your brain, blocking the sensation of tiredness and essentially tricking your body into thinking it's not yet time to slow down. Even if you fall asleep later, caffeine can subtly interfere with the architecture of your sleep, affecting its depth and quality. Studies from institutions like Stanford and Harvard have shown that caffeine consumed even 6 hours before going to sleep can reduce your total sleep time by more than an hour. What's even more concerning is that it significantly diminishes the amount of slow-wave sleep you get. Slow-wave sleep is the deepest stage of non-REM sleep and is vital for releasing growth hormone, which plays a central role in muscle repair and overall recovery. Without enough deep sleep, you may think you're resting, but your body isn't healing. This is a critical point for athletes, fitness enthusiasts, or anyone focused on recovery and peak performance. This stage of sleep is where physical, mental, and hormonal transformation truly occurs. Experts in sleep neuroscience strongly advise cutting off caffeine intake a minimum of 8 to 10 hours before bedtime. So, if your goal is to sleep at 10 p.m., your final cup of coffee or caffeinated tea should be no later than 12 o'clock noon. Drinking coffee at 3 p.m. or 5 p.m., even if you feel tired, can still disrupt your sleep later that night. Giving your body a long enough buffer enables adenosine levels to normalize, allow your nervous system to shift into a more relaxed and receptive state as the evening progresses. Now let's move on to alcohol, a substance often wrongly believed to help people fall asleep. While alcohol might initially make you feel drowsy or relaxed, the reality is that it severely compromises sleep quality. When alcohol is consumed in the evening, even in moderate amounts like a glass of wine or a single cocktail, it initiates a chain of effects in your body that interfere with the sleep process. Alcohol has a sedative effect that reduces REM sleep, the stage where the brain processes emotions, consolidates memories, and repairs mental fatigue. A reduction in REM sleep means your brain cannot fully recharge, leaving you feeling mentally sluggish and emotionally off the next day. But alcohol doesn't just impair brain recovery. It also disrupts deep sleep, the same critical stage needed for muscle repair and hormone production. Alcohol also elevates your core body temperature. And this is a key issue because your brain needs a drop in body temperature to initiate and maintain deep, restorative sleep. One study published in Alcoholism, clinical and experimental research demonstrated that even moderate drinking slashes nighttime growth hormone secretion by up to 70%, and its negative impact can persist for as long as 5 hours after you've stopped drinking. Imagine this. A single evening drink can effectively cancel your body's primary recovery window. Even if you sleep through the night, your nervous system is working hard to metabolize and eliminate toxins rather than focus on healing, rebuilding muscle and balancing hormones. Now, let's talk about something most people never suspect: dark chocolate. Known for its antioxidants and magnesium content, dark chocolate is often seen as a healthy snack, but it contains theobromine, a natural stimulant similar to caffeine. Just 1 ounce of 85% dark chocolate can contain enough theobromine and caffeine to equal the stimulation of 20 to 25 milligrams of caffeine. For those sensitive to stimulants or those eating dark chocolate late in the day, this amount is enough to delay the onset of sleep or reduce the depth of sleep, again impacting recovery. This is especially relevant because many people consume chocolate-based desserts in the evening without realizing its stimulant content could be keeping their brains subtly alert. Similarly, beverages such as green tea, yerba mate, and even certain energy-labeled or protein-rich supplements may contain hidden sources of caffeine or thermogenic compounds. These ingredients are often added to boost metabolism or increase alertness. But if consumed in the evening, they can keep your heart rate elevated, raise your core temperature, and stimulate your nervous system, all of which are counterproductive when your body is trying to wind down. Even some nighttime supplements marketed to promote recovery may include ingredients that seem minor but act as stimulants. It's important to read the labels closely and ensure that none of your evening beverages contain compounds that might interfere with your natural sleep-wake cycle. So, here's the plan. If your performance, muscle recovery, and overall health are a priority, make a firm commitment to avoid caffeine after 12 p.m. or at least 8 hours before your planned bedtime. When it comes to alcohol, the best approach is total elimination. But if you do choose to indulge occasionally, make sure your last drink is finished at least 3 to 4 hours before bed, and drink plenty of water to support detoxification. As for cocoa, herbal infusions, and nutritional aids, be vigilant. Avoid anything with stimulant properties for at least 4 to 6 hours before sleep. Instead, opt for calming, caffeine-free alternatives such as chamomile, rooibos, or other herbal blends known to support relaxation. Every evening beverage you consume either supports or sabotages your body's ability to recover. Your mind doesn't just shut off at night. It reorganizes, recalibrates, and refreshes itself. And your muscles don't merely pause. They actively rebuild and grow stronger. The more conscious you become about how even small amounts of hidden stimulants can interfere with these vital processes, the more control you'll gain over your recovery. You'll wake up feeling not just rested, but truly restored, mentally sharper, hormonally balanced, and physically stronger. In the next segment, we'll explore a lesser-known but extremely effective strategy for improving sleep and muscle recovery: body temperature regulation. This might be the missing piece you need to unlock deeper recovery, accelerate growth, and boost performance beyond what you thought possible. Many people fixate on calories, protein, or workout intensity when trying to grow muscle, but understanding how your body temperature influences sleep may be the game changer you've been looking for. Stay tuned. One of the most overlooked factors in overnight recovery is body temperature. Your body maintains a specific thermal set point that plays a crucial role in determining not only your ability to fall asleep, but also the repair of your muscles, the balance of your hormones, and the resetting of your nervous system during sleep. Interestingly, to achieve deeper, more anabolic sleep, it's essential to lower your core temperature. Body temperature serves as a crucial factor in regulating sleep patterns. Research conducted by the University of Pittsburgh and Harvard Medical School indicates that a decrease in core body temperature by just 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit serves as a critical signal for entering slow-wave sleep, commonly referred to as deep sleep, the crucial moment when muscle tissue undergoes repair and growth hormone reaches its highest levels. As darkness falls, your suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, the main circadian pacemaker in the hypothalamus, increases melatonin levels while your body starts dissipating heat through your extremities. This cooling signals the brain that it's time for deep sleep. If your body remains too warm due to a hot room, late workout, alcohol, or heavy meal, this cooling mechanism is hindered. According to sleep expert Dr. Matthew Walker, this can reduce slow-wave sleep by up to 40 to 50%. During slow-wave sleep, muscle fibers repair, inflammation lowers, and the immune system resets. To enhance body temperature regulation and improve sleep and muscle recovery, chill your space to 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. This activates the body's natural thermoregulation response essential for deep sleep. Take a hot shower or bath 1 to 2 hours before bed. Though it seems counterintuitive, it actually helps cool the body by dilating blood vessels near the skin, aiding in faster heat loss after you exit, triggering the natural cooling signal. Avoid vigorous exercise 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, since it elevates core temperature and can impair deep sleep quality. Train earlier if possible, or allow time to cool down with gentle stretching, hydration, and a cool shower. Rest with airy linens and light clothing. Thick blankets or sleepwear can trap heat, disrupting your body's cooling process. Use breathable fabrics like bamboo, cotton, or linen. A cooling mattress or pad can also help if you overheat at night. Letting your feet hang out from the blanket can aid heat dissipation through a major thermal outlet. Body temperature is more than comfort. It's a biological switch that determines the quality of your sleep, whether it's restorative or restless, and whether your muscles recover or not. So tonight, think beyond protein or calories. Ask if your sleep environment allows your body to cool sufficiently. The difference between waking up drained or refreshed may not lie in your workout, but in how effectively your body cooled and recovered afterward. ChatGPT said, "Thought and a challenge to change your sleep, nutrition, and recovery habits beginning tonight. Let's consolidate everything." Many individuals aiming to develop or maintain muscle, particularly after turning 30, concentrate primarily on their activities in the gym. What neuroscience and physiology clearly indicate is that the activities you engage in during the hours leading up to bedtime, along with your nutrition, light exposure, and thermal environment, play a crucial role in whether your body undergoes repair or breakdown. We started with a straightforward but impactful understanding. Some foods consumed before bedtime can interfere with your brain's sleep patterns and hinder your body's capacity to develop and safeguard muscle. That isn't just excitement. It's backed by years of research in chrononutrition, endocrinology, and neurobiology. Consuming rich, fatty foods prior to sleep can delay the time it takes to fall asleep and lead to waking during the night. Digestion activates your sympathetic nervous system, which ideally should be winding down at night. Insulin spikes can block growth hormone, and eating too close to bedtime raises cortisol, hurting sleep quality and muscle repair. Melatonin, vital for DNA repair and hormonal rhythms, can be disrupted by food, light, or stimulants. Even moderate caffeine or alcohol can silently erode your sleep depth. Temperature matters too. It drives deep sleep where the real repair happens. Tonight, take the challenge. No food 2 to 3 hours before sleep. Just water or herbal tea. Observe how you feel, how you train, and how your body changes. This one shift could become your greatest, most effortless tool.